Good evening, everybody. Hope that you're well, and welcome to tonight's Contenders live stream, number 83, where I was going to be going through the liquidation trading strategy, which is a new strategy by myself, completely unique, that's working really well on Bitcoin at the moment. But then we also have a really unique opportunity on the charts once again, where let me show you what's happening right now on the Bitcoin chart. So we obviously have just seen this really massive move to the downside. And then in the last 5 minutes, the volatility has been insane, where we saw a pump of 5%, the move down of 4%, and then another move up of 3%. But the reason why tonight is such a unique opportunity is because we have been managing to trade the highs, and lows of this market to almost $1 each time. And I feel that there is so much that I can share with you in this video. It's just like one of those opportunities where I could just do the educational content that is planned for tonight's stream, which is going through the new liquidation strategy. But because of the information that I can share with you, which is like 1 in a million right now, like of people that could have foreseen this happening, and then for me to give you that knowledge of how I've managed to trade this, how I have, yeah, I feel is like worth so much. It's just worth a lot of it. It's just worth a lot to basically have this information. So that's why I want to postpone this liquidation strategy till next week. I want to go through the last few days trades here, specifically today, and I want to help you how I managed to take these trades, because I know not only myself, but obviously people in the champions group have been following the trades. But I want to now give you the real theory behind the trades, how I was recognizing, okay, now it's time to buy, now it's time to sell. Because as we all know, it's not as easy as just buy here, sell here, stop loss here. It's okay, let's wait for the reaction. Let's see what's happening at the time. I just truly feel I mean, if you think about how many people have traded it like I have in the world, I feel the opportunity of me giving you this information live tonight is just extremely valuable. Let's just say that. So, yeah, I was reading the comments as we were coming in here, and I was reading through this, and that was absolutely insane. Some people making more money today than they do in their job. $66,400 profit in 2 days. We've been absolutely trading this obviously very well. And now what I want to do is shift the focus onto the thought process I was going through, the levels why. Because if you can truly understand this, it's going to help your trading so much. I want to present tonight's information in a educational focused way, while also then simultaneously giving you my opinion on the Bitcoin chart. And I also want to cover Ethereum tonight. So it's a slightly bit different, but I truly believe that it's like so worth it for you. Okay, and we can just postpone the planned live stream 1 week. You know, we could just postpone this 1 week, and tonight's live stream is going to be, get your notepads out, because we've traded this, I would say, the best. You know, I want to say like the best in the world. We've been able to manage the highs and lows of the market, predicting it, you know, days in advance. So let's go over this then. I suppose I'll first start you off with how we originally got to this, and it was recognizing the area of resistance, recognizing the area of support. I'm going to go over and expand upon this a little bit tonight, not too much, because obviously I've done that in the Champions live stream, but basically on that Champions live stream, we were looking for the shorts around 34,500, and then the longs basically off of 29,600. So we knew where we wanted a long, we knew where we wanted a short. This in the end actually gave us our short down into the long. It's pretty amazing, really. But that's what the prediction was. Okay, so if we just load this up, we come just onto the 1 hour chart. You can see here off of that short and long, what we really had going on here is the same, obviously, what we were looking at in the time there on the Champions live stream. So what really has been going on here, and how was I able to get these entries? And again, it's different than just having this on the chart like this and just saying, right, let's enter here, let's stop loss it. My entries are actually based off of reactions in the time. So I'm getting a lot of data in the time that gives me a lot of confidence of taking these shorts around here and taking these longs around here. Without that confidence, experience, and knowledge, you're not going to be able to take these trades. So via me sharing that, you know, experience and knowledge with you tonight, hopefully it, you know, it gives you, empowers you to be able to take some of these trades. So what I want to do is hide this a second. And I actually want to first go to this short up here, and how obviously it was brilliant to recognize prior to getting up here where we were likely to turn around, but then it's how I managed the trade. I think that's the really important part. And then I want to go on to the managing of this trade down here, because this was obviously a long, taking a gain from the very lows. And what I want to show you here is what happened as we were approaching these highs. So how did I manage to get into this short position the way that I did? Basically, it was really simple. In the time as we were approaching this level, there's two things that I want you to bear in mind. I'm just going to take a drink. Just taking a drink, and I just saw this comment in the corner of my eyes that the guy's only been able to make profits because he actually had the plan. And I think this is the main thing here. We had to have this plan. So obviously the plan in the first place was to short this region. But as we actually were coming into this region, I was in a long position. Okay, so I was actually in a long from this level right here. And the way that I was managing this was I was looking at the 1 minute market structure. So I knew that this was all a really big resistance region. But nevertheless, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade the charts. What I mean by this is, although I wanted a rejection in this region, although I was like expecting a rejection in this region, until we get a region, I'm not going to short. Sorry, until we get a rejection, I'm not going to short. Because although I'm expecting a downturn, doesn't mean it has to happen. So basically how this progressed was we continued up with our bullish market structure. So we're still making our higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, until we hit this resistance. As I think you all know by now what this resistance was. It was pretty amazing, the level that we rejected. So this resistance, fixed range tool, from the start of the range to that price, look where we rejected, ladies and gentlemen. Point of control literally to the dollar. Yeah, it was easy as that. Point of control of the range to the absolute dollar. We hit that point of control and we got our decline to the downside. But we knew that was our resistance to the dollar. But the way that I actually traded this was waiting for that step of confirmation. So I wanted to wait for that step of confirmation of, okay, this is actually the high. So the way that I approached this trade is I was waiting for one of two things. Either to get our high, our low, and a secondary push up with bearish CVD divergences. So again, to use this, I'm on the template. These templates, just so you can all remember this, all of the templates for the XO charts that I use are in the general chat and in the pinned messages up here. We got all the templates, just so you remember that. But yeah, I was on basically the XO template on this one, the 1 minute chart, and it's going to take a little while on the 1 minute chart to go back there. Let's just bring this up a little bit. Basically, as we approach those highs, I was looking for if we had bearish divergences, and we didn't. So when we were up here, I wanted one of two things to short. I wanted to see bearish divergences, and I didn't get it. So I didn't actually short any of this region because I did not have my bearish divergences. Like, that's one thing that I really want to see to short. I didn't have the bearish divergences, so I was still in a long during this section of the pullback. Okay. And basically, the way that I managed the long, okay, really, really, really simple actually, was here was my original long entry. I knew that this was the massive resistance region. Okay, this was the massive, 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 massive resistance. So I knew longing up any higher was a bad idea. And I knew it was likely that we reject. But really simply, once we actually come back along that support and we got in our first market structure change with actually putting in our low, high, low, and then we back test. This for me was the region of, okay, now I've got to short. So what am I looking for? One of two things for me to short. It was either bearish CVD divergences, which we didn't get. So the other option for me was the market structure change, which really happened. Could have got very aggressive. To be honest, you could have got very aggressive here and shorted, but I didn't. I actually waited for a loss of me, which was the important support. Again, that was for me. Okay, I want to short now. So when you're getting this upwards move here, it's just like short, 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 short. Invalidation is above the highs. So that's how I originally got the short. It was not timing the high, presetting the high. It was actually waiting for that confirmation. And as you all know, if you've been following the chat, it's been an absolute gold mine. If you've been following the chat over the last few days, you'll know the way that I was approaching this trade was really simply holding my short until the target, which was obviously $29,600. And I want to show you once again just how I got this. It really, really, really simple. We was on here. and I wanted to load this. And what I actually done here was had this on the 30 or 40 million chart. And what our low was really simply the Asian session point of control. So you see here, this is the Asian session point of control. We just zoom in here. Asian session point of control, that was coming in literally at 29,620. So that's why I wanted a long there. So really simply what I had was the original setup. I'm trying to find it because I've accidentally closed the screen again. This will only take me a second, please bear with me. But basically what I'm saying is I had the original, yeah, here we go. I had the original short, and I only got that short entry after confirmation. I've then been very patient with my plan to wait for it to come to target. And then when it come to target, I've then decided, okay, now it's actually time to long again. And what did we have down on these lows? So remember, that was the reason why I wanted the long. And then I've waited for myself anyway, a step of confirmation of, okay, this is actually now looking like a really nice long. On the higher term time frame itself, we had bullish CVD divergences. So this is on the higher of the higher from that last low to this low. You can see we have really big bullish CVD divergences. So this was for me a primary factor of why I said to everybody, okay, now I've entered the long. Really simply, you have to remember this is during full fear in the market. Everybody's very scared, very, very, very scared. I'm saying to myself, right, I have the plan. I've got the bullish CVD now. So that for me makes me very happy when I actually start to see that bullish CVD forming here. For me was very good off of the level of support I was waiting for. So that was for me the simplest amount of confirmation that I needed. Okay, really simply, that was it. That's all I needed to say, okay, I now have a very valid long position. Firstly, I was ready and waiting for this level. And then I see the bullish CVD on it as well. That's all you need. That was the confirmation. Take the trade. Okay, I closed my short, all of it, went fully into a long. Okay. Then what happened next? Well, the VWAP. So you will know then I was saying, look at what happens to this VWAP. We come straight into the VWAP, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely, perfectly. We got the rise in price of 5% into the VWAP. And what I done at this VWAP was I hedged, fully hedged. So I was obviously in a long only at this point. Let's just say $100. What I've then done is when we hit the VWAP, I've taken a short of $100. So this is basically fully hedged me that if we get a decrease in price, I'm not going to lose any money. I'm not going to make any money, but I'm protecting myself for if we reject off this VWAP. And like clockwork, like magic, we did reject off the VWAP. Again, every time we've touched it today, we reject. I'm saying is, I'm pretty bullish, but until we actually clear this, I gotta hedge. And if you're reading my post, you'll know that I said after this high, as soon as we get above 31 grand, I'll close my hedge. But until then, I'm going to look for lower. And really lovely, we got the move down. Yeah, this was pretty amazing. Now, the next thing I show you, we had the move down. I actually managed to get back into unhedged, looking at this low on the chart. This was for me the low that I wanted to say to myself, okay, if we come back and take these lows off of once again 29,600, I'm going to close my hedge. And it was just like absolute magic, to be honest. Like we literally come down and we tested 29,600 once again after again another decrease in price of 4.3%, where I said to myself, right, that's enough for me. I'm going to close my hedge. Because I felt that this was going to be a secondary attempt for this increase in price. You were seeing shorts get very, 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 very aggressive on this move down. So again, we're looking at ExoCharts. ExoCharts is a really great software to be able to determine this of how many people are shorting this. And when you see the open interest here, look at the open interest. As we're coming down, 13 million, there's an opening. 13 million, 1, 2, 3, 5, 12, 13 million at the very lows here. You're saying to yourself, wow, we're coming back to test support and people are going crazy, absolutely crazy with the shorts here because it's support, remember. And so that's why I decided to unhedge. And then literally like clockwork, we got a short squeeze and now we're back up to the VWAP. So the way that I would approach this right now is to be honest, literally before this stream started, I went back into a hedge because I wasn't sure how this was going to progress, you know. And what I was saying to myself is, okay, if we reclaim 31k, I think this looks really, 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 really great. So the way that I'm approaching this now on Bitcoin is I got my $31,000 level. If we can reclaim $31,000, I don't see any reason, to be honest, why I cannot get the rest of this target. There is obviously going to be a few sticky places on this chart. If we primarily take this section of the chart, we are likely to see resistance at $31,800 and then $32,300. Those would be what I would call two places that we might actually potentially reject. It would be here. Why? This high volume node. And then really simply the point of control. Let me just see if this does change if I take everything. Pretty big level. Yeah. So yeah, those for me are two really big sticking places. And so you basically got, you got this, you got that level because it's the high volume nodes. And depending on how you take this range exactly, the point of control is actually changing to there. So this is a really big resistance at the moment. That's 31,800. And then the second one is obviously the point of control, which is off of the more recent price action. Yeah, that's really coming in at about $32,300. So that for me right now is the most simplest way that I would say. If we reclaim 31,000, I would imagine that you're going to be moving up pretty swiftly to 31,800. Okay, which is a bit of your first resistance really. And then the way that I'd expect that to move up to is around $32,300. And if we clear that, I would actually be fully expecting the original target here. But to be honest, now I'd actually be looking more for something along this sort of lines, which is our daily at around $36,666. So yeah, that's the way that I would approach this now, really simply. You could obviously see higher weekly, even higher again. That's obviously all possible. I think you got to take it level to level. So the way that I would say that well, literally I'm approaching this now is, okay, 31k is the next resistance. Then I know it's 31,800. Then I know that it's 32,300 basically. Then I think we go to the highs essentially. If we clear that, we go to 36,661. We clear that, we go to weekly, etc., etc., etc. I think that the biggest takeaway of this is the way that I have approached this trade, the way that I've really managed it in what I would only describe as extremely well. Like today, I've managed this extremely well, while simultaneously giving you all the updates in the group today of exactly how I was doing it. Short from the highs, long from the lows, up into the VWAP, into a full hedge at the VWAP. We got our move down to take the lows once more and hit 29,600. To unhedge, we got another move up into the VWAP where I went back into my hedge. It's been absolutely incredible, if I say so myself. But yeah, that's the simple way that I would approach this now. So hedged basically means I'm not going to lose or make money wherever Bitcoin goes. If it goes down, I don't lose anything. If it goes up, I don't make anything. So it's like full hedge until that's really reclaimed, which could happen on this stream. What I'd be looking for here is, okay, have we got divergences? Yes. So on this rise, on that rise that we saw here, did you also see that we had bearish divergences? So we hit the VWAP, resistance, while simultaneously forming bearish divergences. So that's why I was like, right, I need to fully hedge here actually, because we've hit the VWAP and we had the bearish divergences. So this is for me, okay, really, really, really bearish. Actually, I need to fully hedge it. And that was why I was so happy that we got the decline in price. Now, obviously, we don't have the bearish divergences. So that's because so many people shorted this. But yeah, that was the other thing that I forgot to mention. We did have those bearish CVD divergences on this rise. So that's why it was very likely that we were going to get another decline and not break the VWAP at that time. Whereas now we don't have those bearish CVD, it's more likely to push through to the upside. But I'm still hedged, nevertheless, at the moment. Oof. So that's what we have on the Bitcoin chart. I want to go for Ethereum now for you. and then we'll go through some lower term time frame things. So I'm very patient on Ethereum at the moment. Okay. The way that I'm approaching my trade is really simple. I'm actually waiting for Ethereum to drop here. About another 5% to the weekly. You can see I've got an alert set right here. Just a front run of the weekly. And really simply, the way that I'm approaching Ethereum here is that I'm not shorting Ethereum. Okay, I'm not short on Ethereum, even though I expect, to be honest with you, another 6% decline. I'm not actually shorting Ethereum. The way that I'd view this is a long opportunity. So this is where I would actually be interested in longing Ethereum. So I'm not going to short this to here, but if it hits here, then I would be very interested in the long. Okay. So yeah, basically, again, this is now sticking to the plan. So I've said to myself, if Ethereum hits this weekly, I'm going to long. I'm not gonna start longing early. I just have no need to. You know, any of this here, I'm not gonna take the long. The same as yesterday, yeah. You know, I could have maybe taken a long way too early on Bitcoin when it started going sideways here. You know, so I knew I wanted a long here on Bitcoin, but when Bitcoin went sideways here, I wasn't thinking I'm longing now. You know, I had zero interest in a long here. I stayed patient for my plan to come to here. The same on Ethereum. I want to stay patient for my plan to here. You know, I could long prematurely here, and it does exactly what it does on Bitcoin, where it still comes down. And if I had waited and stuck to my plan, I'd have made money. You know, the same on Ethereum. I'm going to stay patient on my plan. I'm not interested in any of this right now. I'm going to stay patient for the move. Okay, this is very important that what I'm doing here is I'm making a plan. I'm sticking to my plan. There's no emotions. There's no, I want this, I want that. It's really simple. Sticking to the plan. And I'll show you this that I'm in at the moment. Okay, so this is now show you how we can manage this. So you can see today profit of 5.7 Bitcoin. Okay, there's this for everybody that likes this. 5.7 Bitcoin profit, which is hard realized in the bank. That, you know, that can be sent to my bank account. And now this is obviously hedged. And I've moved around some of my funds at the moment, so I'm like fully, you know, just probably hedged. But on this account anyway, you can see this is the VWAP price, locked in profits of 170,000. You know, I'm guaranteed whatever happens today, 170,000, and you know, I'll see how the rest of that hedge goes. But that's just showing you that, you know, this is how I'm managing my trades at the moment. And it's not from any emotion. You know, I'm not emotional during any of these moves. I'm really simply calm, collected, and, you know, trading what I'm given. Which is why this is crazy, actually. We're just seeing a 19 million short open. Okay, yeah, this could bounce. You know, I just find it really crazy, actually, how we get all these shorts. Yeah. I suppose the thing for me, though, is at least they are shorting near the highs. You know, you'd prefer to short 19 million up around here than you would to short 19 million down here, I suppose. Or like down here. Like, this is crazy time to short. You know, they're a bit late to the move, let's be honest, but yeah. So yeah, that's my opinion on Bitcoin. That's my opinion on Ethereum. That's how I managed my trade today. So I think I wanted to really emphasize here, like, how I went about waiting for the confirmations, how I went about hedging my positions. You know, this is information that I feel that you cannot get anywhere else, because no trading book is going to teach you sort of thing of how, you know, when other times to hedges, like how do you get your confirmation? You know, it's very hard to get this information unless you're actually watching someone that's trading do it, essentially. So that's why I wanted to bring you this. I felt there was a unique perspective that you could get from someone that's traded this very well today. And it was a mixture of having the plan, sticking to the plan, and then waiting for the confirmation. So again, it's not just saying to yourself, you know, this was a point that I made earlier. Okay, so here's our VWAP resistance. Let's say that every time it hits the VWAP, you take a short because we were in a downtrend. That's 1 trade, 2 trades, 3 trades, 4 trades, 5 trades. Okay, shorting the VWAP. And so far you got 5 trades, 5 wins, 100% win rate. But let's say, and this time you had broken it. We would have still taken the short here nevertheless, because you had bearish CVD into the VWAP. But let's just say that it did fly through. Well, guess what? You're still winning 80% of your trades because you would have won, lost. You're walking away with an 80% win rate. What happens? You actually have a 100% win rate because you actually got another decline. But where I'm going with this is, You know, we might have wanted this to pump, but we're trading the charts. So when we're actually given a setup, which is short, we're at least hedging ourselves. So, you know, it's really big emphasis on confirmation, trading the charts, not what we want, sticking to the plan. And, you know, there's no emotions flowing through this. This for me is pretty crazy. The fact that we saw all these shorts just open so these people are all underwater now. So we just saw 16 million short open and straight away they're literally underwater. But, yeah, you know, these people are obviously trading in the time with no real thought process. But yeah, that's what I wanted to bring you today, that perspective. If people have any questions on how I've handled this, I feel like now is the time to really ask. Yeah, because I think it's got a pretty unique opportunity tonight to ask me. But yeah, that was pretty epic. Hey. Also, this was a pretty yeah, pretty crazy. So yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. And what can we do then for this? I'll just talk you through the way that I'll be approaching this. And so it looks like we're actually getting a lot of now shorts close. We're still back onto this VWAP, but then you've literally, maybe it's the same guy. You know, this is crazy. So we could imagine this is the same guy that he shorted 16 million. And then he's like, what have I just done? That's really dumb. And then straight away he's closed his short. Like, this guy has just lost a lot of money, hundreds and thousands of dollars, because he has been very emotional. He shorted 16 million, seen price start to go back up, and he's closed his 16 million short. So within seconds, you know, he's losing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, can you see how crazy some people are? Just because you have money, it doesn't mean you're going to be good at trading, because this guy has 16 million and he's shorted 16 million. He saw price going up a little bit and he's closed his 16 million short. Yeah, how crazy is that? You know, it's crazy. But, you know, this is what happens when they have no plan and no idea what they're doing. You know, they're just entering and exiting. You know, it's mad. But yeah, so the way that I'm approaching this at the moment, I think it's much more bullish than the first time we approached it. This time when we approached it, I didn't think we were really going to break through because of the bearish divergences. But now we're approaching this a second time. You know, the probabilities of getting through, now we don't have those divergences, are much higher. You know, we have a high probability, I would say, of breaking through this resistance. To be honest with you, I would imagine that we break through it. If we reject, I suppose, then the only thing that I could think of is that we do something like this. And we look to form some form of ascending triangle. So you could imagine that if we do reject it again, then we're going to be probably looking for something along this lines, I would imagine. And then we get our ascending triangle, which would be obviously it can break to the downside as well, so you could take it a bit safer. But if we reject here, I would envision that we put in some form of a ascending triangle before we get a breakout, is how I would imagine. Also, we do have some questions at sea. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's perspective of, you know, I just feel it's really important of how we manage our trades. So when you're in the trade, how do you manage it? You know, let me emphasize one more time of how I manage this so good. Original long, waited for the market structures. I waited for the confirmation. I shorted. I have not closed fully my short until literally target. I was not baited in by any of this move to close early. Why was that? I had zero signs that there were going to be a move up here. Again, things that I'm going to be looking for in the time are bullish CVD divergences. I pay a lot of attention to CVD. The market sentiment. I'm pretty good at reading market sentiment. And also, you know, we obviously, you know, this wasn't perfect, but we had a few different, the way that I was approaching this trade is, if we had gone higher here, I was really, really, really calm to say to myself that, okay, if this goes higher, I'm not actually going to close my short unless we ever get above here. So I was actually prepared yesterday to see price come all the way up to here again. And I would have just still stayed in my short. So during all of this rise, I'm not doing anything. I took 0 trades yesterday. So I'm not getting scared. I'm not getting bullish, I'm not getting bearish. I'm just sticking to my plan. You know, it's so important to stick to your plan unless you have a reason to close it early. And I had no reason, even on this rise here, I had no reason to fully close my short. No reason. You know, there's no factor that's telling me this is bullish until we come down to that support. Then we had our bullish CVD, we had an easy invalidation, and we had the market extremely bearish. Very bearish. So I took my opportunity and I switched into a long. Come up to the VWAP, I've fully hedged because of the divergences into the VWAP. We come back down, I've unhedged. We come back up, I've hedged. You can see how I'm approaching this in a very non-emotional, very technical driven way. Okay, everything is about the technicals here for me. So yeah, hope you even, you know, appreciate me talking you through that. Why are you targeting that Pacific Asia range point of control? Really simply for me, there was like a little bit of confluence on it. So I was expecting a heavy retrace. If you watched the Champions live stream, you'll know in a bit more detail than what I'm going to cover here, because I'm just repeating myself really. But we had confluence down there. You obviously also had around the 886. So when we just put on this, we had the 886 there. I was looking for the 886. If you also know, if you remember correctly, I was also envisioning all the time this happening, where we get our second retest. That this fractal was amazing. Up, down, up. Like every step of the way, this fractal has been followed with precision. Up, down, up of the fractal. Real price action, up, down, up. Here, down, up, down. Here we got the down, up, down. Here we got the up, down, up. The fractal. The fractal was up, down, up. Price, up, down, up. Everything was exactly the same. And I was always looking for this retest, because in the fractal that I had, we had the retest. Like had very high confidence that we were going to put in a retest of the lows because of this fractal, where we got a retest of the lows before up. And then when I saw that fractal and this is what we were having, I was always expecting another retest down here. Literally. So that fractal for me was so important. Yeah, it literally helped me a lot, having this and recognizing why this is exactly the same. So that's why. Basically, we had confluence. For me, the reason why I fully hedged this time was, you know, there's never like a hard rule of this, but the reason why I fully hedged was really simply, we were into the VWAP with bearish CV divergences, and that for me is enough to say, okay, I want to fully hedge. I don't lose any money by hedging. I lose nothing by hedging. So it's worth, I prefer to protect my capital than make money, I suppose. So I wanted to protect myself here. I just wanted to protect myself. I thought this is an area where I could see it going down, and it did. And also for me, the way that I was going to unhedge is, you know, I was writing in the group, really simply, if we went above $31,000, I closed the hedge straight away. So I didn't require any divergences. I didn't require anything. All I required is really simply above 31K, close the hedge. So my plan here was so simple. Again, I really don't need to complicate things. It's so simple, it's unreal. So simple. Hedged unless we break 31K. Didn't require a time frame close above it, nothing. Above 31K, I'll close the hedge. Because we would have actually got a really nice market structure at that point. But instead, we made our way down, and yeah, rest is history. We took the lows back onto 29,600. We made our way back up. Brilliant. So yeah, that's yeah. The only reason I decided to do it there was simply because we were the VWAP with the CVD divergences. Literally, only reason why. I didn't want to close my long because I felt it was too good of a position to close. I prefer to literally just hedge myself by opening a short. Obviously, this is on another account, but you know, let's say you're long $100, you short $100, so you're totally hedged. I prefer to do it than close my trade because I felt it was too nice of a trade close. I didn't see the need to fully close. I just wanted to hedge. That doesn't make sense. I ask a question again, but I'm hoping that is understood. Obviously, I've been training about 10 years now, but in terms of how long did it take me to control my emotions, probably was about 3 years before I fully felt I was really like good at what I was doing. Obviously, people are going to be quicker than others. People are going to be slower than others. But for me, it was about 3 years before I really felt like really confident and yeah, in what I was doing. So about 3 years for me. 2 questions. No, I did not wait for a market structure change at the lows. For me, I didn't bother waiting for this because there was lots of selling. Price was not really going down. We were hitting the lows and we were seeing lots of selling and price was not going down. For me, I was like, okay, there's somebody looking to buy this. And then I saw, yeah, bullish CVD divergences. So I didn't wait for the market structure because of the CVD. And could you explain your first take profit on the long? Yeah, let's go over to this then. So here, well, so I think there's 2 ways that one could have approached this. Okay, so if we're looking at this as the come up, you know, the price coming up, I would say that there's 2 sensible take profit ones on the long. The first would be really simply into the CC. You can never go wrong with this as a take profit. You know, really simply high of the move down to the low of the last leg. Okay, literally of the last impulse. This is a really sensible profit. Take one. Move your stop loss to entry. See what happens. The worst that happens is you get stopped out and you've made money. Alternatively, of course, you move back up to the main pivot high. You come into the CC. You come into the VWAP. You come into CVD divergences. And, you know, this is obviously a really sensible take profit. Yeah, I took profit from myself because I like to take my first take profit quickly. It was offered this first CC. But I was very careful around this section of the chart. I was very careful. There was no reason for me to close early because it was just continuously doing the higher highs and higher lows. And then we got into the CC. I was like, okay, I've set my take profits. We come up into here. I hedged. I didn't want to close fully my positions though. So I hope that answers that. Pretty much, yes. So in a downtrend, which we're in at the moment on Bitcoin, the VWAP retest is offering really good trades pretty much all the time. It's very important level. And if you're in an uptrend, the VWAP touches are offering really good support. The reason I hedged is because overall I was more bullish. And it was just a protection for me because, I mean, overall I was expecting price to go up, but I didn't feel... For me, it was just a case of, okay, I guess it was just really simply because I was just thinking to myself, okay, overall I'm expecting up, but I'm not confident enough to not be not hedged in this because the resistance is so big. I want to protect my money. So rather than, you know, I've said, okay, I don't care if I'm right. I'd prefer to keep my money. So I'm just taking everything off the table temporarily until I get another drop to the downside or a reclaim of the level. The reason I didn't short it is because personally, I was leaning a little bit more bullish, to be honest with you. Leaning a little bit more bullish. Not enough to be long, but not enough to be only short sort of thing. So that's the reason why I hedged, because my higher term time frame perspective was a little bit more bullish, to be honest. Have some more in here. Yeah, I think you want to just start with support resistance. Support resistance, VWAP is pretty good, to be honest. Pretty easy. Yeah, but your basic support resistance levels, they're absolutely key. I mean, the things that are working at the moment, again, my strategies are changing all the time, but at the moment, I'm loving VWAP, pointer controls, and simple support resistances, and obviously CVD. You know, those 4 things at the moment are like, oh, very good. Yeah, really simply, because a lot of people were asking me that my reclaim of the level was simply get above it. And that would have been enough for me to close the level. I didn't want to see a volume increase. I didn't want to see anything above it like this. Really simply, for me, it was get above the level. If we had cleared it here, I would have closed it out totally, because that for me would have been bullish. So I was keeping it simple. I didn't want to see volume increases. I didn't want to see the market structure change. It was really simply get above 31k and I'll close my hedge. So that's all I wanted to see by the reclaim sort of thing, is just get above the level. Really simple, just get above the level. Didn't do it and we dropped. Correct. Not much more relevant. It's not one's better than the other. It's just, I would say, what has more confluence at that moment in time. So what has more reasons to close? Is it the CC? A lot of the times the CC is on the point of control. But, you know, what has more, essentially what has more confluence? What makes more sense? Does it make more sense to reject it as CC where there's nothing else? Or does it make more sense to reject it as CC where you have a high volume node, where you have CVD divergences, you know? So it's not one's better than the other. It's in that moment in time, what looks more probable. Because if you take them both blanket statements, I can't tell you what's better. You have to take context into consideration. It's so important. Let's take a look together. We're trying to break a good buck up here, but again, this is a lot of shorts closing. So there's a lot of shorts closing on this. Let's just quickly take a look at this. So the question is, on this rise, it was on a decrease in open interest. In my opinion, this is a short squeeze that's happening at the moment. 100%. So obviously price can move up here more, but it's really simply, this is 100% a short squeeze, because look, yeah, the open interest is declining. It doesn't mean that we cannot keep moving up. Obviously, one would generally say it's much more bullish if the open interest increases as price goes up. Definitely. This is a short squeeze. I want to remind you all, the market is so bearish at the moment. The market is ultra bearish at the moment on Bitcoin. Literally everybody's very bearish. So, yeah, this is a short squeeze that's occurring. We can tell that because the open interest is declining as price is going up. It's not considered bullish. It's considered more bearish, but obviously you can short squeeze for quite a long time. And look at GameStop. Yeah, so it's considered more bearish, but really simply, this is a short squeeze. So although the open interest is going down and price is going up, that can happen for quite a while if we continue to short squeeze here. There was too many people trying to short Bitcoin. Trying to think. What exactly do you mean by the liquidity levels? I'm not too sure what you mean. Not 100% sure what you mean. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by the liquidity levels here at the moment. You're gonna have to expand upon this. I'm not too sure what you mean by it at the moment. Yeah, so if we just take a look now at Bitcoin then. So this is definitely short squeezing, because you see the open interest is declining heavily. Open interest is declining heavily as price is going upwards. So this means like shorts are closing. So all of this is shorts closing. 29 million negative, positive delta. 50 million candle. A lot of people closing their shorts. Haven't really... Yeah, I mean, I must admit that I definitely lean more bullish here. Like, definitely. Obviously, one would prefer an open interest increase, but that's not a requirement. We can continue to move up here on short squeezes for sure. And I definitely would say that this is more bullish. It's my opinion, at least locally, yeah, at least locally. You can obviously get that ascending triangle. You're starting to now see longs open. You got 2.5 million longs opening here. Obviously, price not really moving, but look at Patrick's template. On this one, we're not above VWAP. This is a trend reversal chart. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think this looks really bullish, to be honest with you. With 3 resistances right now. And I would say we're going to be moving up towards that next level. Which was the high volume node of this. I would say it's very, 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 very likely that we are going right now to around 31,800. That's what I would imagine is happening. And again, for me, this can short squeeze. There's a lot of people bearish. Okay, there's a lot of people bearish. And when so many people are shorting Bitcoin, and we're at, you know, in my opinion, we're like at a support, pretty dangerous. So we didn't actually form the descending triangle, the ascending triangle. We actually just went straight through 31k. But yeah, I must admit, I'm going to be expecting this to come to this high volume node next. No reason to think we won't, to be honest. Yeah, I personally now think this is really... I'm pretty bullish now, to be honest with you, on Bitcoin. Could foresee this coming up pretty nicely. I'd say we'd come up to here at least. Sometimes what I'll do is check the last really local range. So if we look at this, it's even higher. Yeah, I must admit, I think this is really bullish. And this is like really big short squeeze. Look at it, man. Oh, you're actually seeing new longs open now. Oh, this is more bullish. So even more bullish, actually, because you're actually seeing new longs open here. You saw 12, no, that was closing, 6 million, 8 million. A lot of people like opening longs. See if how we go at previous day value area low. But I personally think this is looking really good. So you see how we were able to determine it was more likely anyway. Again, not a guarantee, but more likely we're going to break through this time. Because this time we didn't have bearish divergences. You know, there were no bearish divergences on this attempt. Yeah, more bullish. I personally think this is really good now. Looks like this previous day value area low is the level to get above right now. Look at this though, we had 29 mil here. Yeah, it looks really good. This is now an increase in open interest. People are opening their longs. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm feeling pretty bullish. I'll show you something, by the way, before we wrap it up. This is on one of my private accounts, so I don't really like to show it. But let me show you the entry that I had here. Okay. I want to show you the entry. And then I'll explain it as well. But this is also a little bit of a look at this. Look at this, yeah. Again, I don't want to show it on stream. I'll just show you the print screen of it. Ready for this? Boom. Look at this entry. Literally, that's what you call trading the plan. But now I want to show you the time when I got this one filled. So I was getting that long filled at 29,573. At 29,573, you see the fill time here at 1846. 1846. Want to see this? This was the minute of the lows. 1846. This is the low of the wick. 1846. I was filling that position at 1846, opening the new longs. So literally on that low, 1846 at 573 was the absolute minute low that we come down to there. Are you not entertained? And really simply, that was simply because of the fact we were coming back to my level. I was like, okay, this is nice. But there you go. Yeah, so that's kind of my opinion on the market then. Pulling back here. Oh, now you're getting people opening shorts. Look at this. Now you're seeing actually 17 million shorts open. I mean, I must admit, I'm going to just now trade for my plan. To be honest with you. So this is one thing that it kind of a tip that I can give. That in a lot of situations like this, I prefer to not overmanage my trade now. So I am not going to overmanage my trade. That means essentially I can just walk away from this trade. Okay, I can walk away from this trade, and I would approach it in a mindset of thinking, we reject here and we go down, and I get stopped out. I'm okay with that. I'm honestly so okay if I get stopped out of the trade, or we go higher up to my target. For me now, this is a totally non-emotional trade where I'm going to simply let it run. And that means to hit my stop loss, which would mean price. I can be, to be honest, going to have a stop loss at entry, because if it comes back down here again, I'm going to say what's going on. And I'm going to let it run. Simple as that now. I'm not hedged. I am long. I know where I'm right. I know where my targets are. I'm going to have I'm going to place my stop loss at entry. I have a risk-free trade. And I don't want to overmanage this trade. You know, I don't want to overmanage it. That was how I managed to take all of this, by not overmanaging. You know, because if I was down here on the 1 minute charts, I would have probably closed my position too early. Same here. I could probably close my position too early if I'm so focused on the 1 minute chart. But this now is for a swing trade for me. I'm going to let that one run. I'm going to let it either hit my stop loss, or I'm going to let it hit my target. I'm not going to manage that trade anymore. I don't need to. Pretty simply, I just don't need to. So yeah, that's kind of a tip that I would say, that if you also, because I will sometimes find myself over managing trades and not letting my things run too long, you know, when I could have let it run longer. You know, I'm a guy that does take profits really, really, really quickly, to be honest. But for the rest of this trade, I'm gonna let it run and either hit target or stop loss. I feel I'm in a pretty advantageous position of the entry. Yeah, I have no reason to try and overmanage it. People obviously trying to defend this previous day value area low, to be honest. Literally 17 million shorts opened here. So they're trying to defend that, aren't they? That's obvious. Maybe they succeed, maybe they don't. But that's clearly what's trying to be defended now. Previous day value area low. For me, though, the high volume node is the bigger level. But I don't know. People are obviously trying to defend it. And that's not a guess. That's literally, we can see 17 million shorts open. Yeah, there you go then. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention here. Let me check in here. Daily naked point of control, 33,300. Oh wow. We have a CCV set up. if we get acceptance in the previous day value area low, we actually have. This is already traded out. We have a CCV set. I think this is really bullish. But yeah, we're getting a back above this. I'm really bullish. I'm not gonna lie. Back into this. These 17 million shorts are all underwater. If we get acceptance into here, we actually have an 80% probability of moving up. Now that's to the dollar now. I still don't really think that it's going to reject us. If I'm totally honest with you, I'm pretty bullish, but yeah. But did you see this? As soon as we breached 31k, we've instantly gone to 31,500, like $500 instantly. See how important 31k was? It really was a bit important, wasn't it? Yeah, now I'm very much bullish on the rest of this. Fly Bitcoin. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's live stream. I've really given you some insights that I don't feel you're going to get anywhere else in terms of how I've gone about timing the highs of the market, timing the lows of the market, hedging, unhedging, hedging, getting above 31k, unhedging, and now we see another move to the upside. Like, I feel I've traded this very well in a non-emotional way in terms of, no, I don't really care where price is going here. I don't care if it goes up or down. I'm trading what's given to me, what's the most probable. I'm trading the probabilities. I'm not trading what I want. I'm trading what I'm given. And that's tonight's live stream then, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you've really enjoyed this. It's giving you some insights into what I really look for when I'm trading, you know, then how I'm taking those trades. But we got a CCV setup potential here if we come into the previous day value area low. But that's obviously the resistance that you're trying to. Also can clear this. You get to move for the. Oh, what do we opened here? Oh, we don't have a CCV. I apologize. I just misread this. We do not have a CCV. We actually already had the CCV this morning. Yeah, I'm being really dumb. I just totally realized we've already had a CCV. So we actually opened here. I don't know why, but I was thinking we opened here. Like, I don't know. Apologies, you don't have a CCV. The CCV has already played out because you actually opened here and then you had the short, obviously. Ignore me with the CCV setup. Okay, that's not actually there. I for some reason was thinking we opened here, not opened up here. So ignore what I said on that. But nevertheless, that previous day value area low is still resistance. So yeah, that's tonight's stream then. I hope you've thoroughly enjoyed. I've given you some insights into how the trade has gone, how the trade is going, and how I'm going to literally manage this trade now. I'm not going to be taking any more long shorts or anything else. I'm going to trade that till target or stop loss. I'm pretty confident. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you do it. Hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's been very insightful for you. Again, next week we'll be going back to this, and that's going to be covering the liquidation strategy. That one's going to be pretty interesting. And should you have any other questions, you know where you can ask them. Oh, look at this. He went from 0.1 to 2 Bitcoin in 44 days. That's what we're talking about. Really well done, mate. if you have any other questions, you can obviously ask them over in trading help. But there you go. Any other questions that you might have, ask in trading help or the discussion, and we'll be more than happy to help. But that's tonight's stream. Hope you thoroughly enjoyed, and I will catch you on Sunday, I suppose, for the Champions live stream, or literally over in Discord after this ends. Cheers, everybody. Thank you ever so much, and good evening.